from the accent, I am from Jamaica, loving here, loving Jamaica. Happy to have two homes. I know it's interesting. We say home when we're in Jamaica, and we say home when we're in Jamaica to come here, and I love that. But I actually have been on all my life, I've been told, sort of kind of like a born educator. I love and strive and yearn to have other people being sustainable. I did not start off in financial services, but whatever I do, I want to make sure that people are closer to their goals. I am from higher education originally and was a professor and program manager at Nova Southeastern University for 23 years that I absolutely loved and actually shaped me to become closer and closer to meeting people's needs. After I left, I was introduced to this opportunity to continue teaching and spreading giving opportunities. And I know that money is an interesting subject. You know, often when I speak with churches or some church groups, it depends on the church group. I know not this group because Dr. Jones has the most interesting topics on her platform because there's nothing that goes untouched on this platform. But we want to know that we know the different Bible verses that can be understood or misunderstood as it comes to money. But we do agree that the serious love of money is a bad thing. You know, if we're not answering our questions that we have to ourselves and we say to ourselves, let us figure out what do we really, really want to do with our money? How do we want to use our money? What are the questions that we answer? And if you're not answering no to these and says, does my pursuit of money interfere with obeying God? If it interferes, it's bad. Do I always look for something that will benefit me financially regardless of how it affects others? That's bad. And when it comes to helping others, am I more concerned with what the cost will be to me instead of allowing myself to be moved by compassion? And I'm going to share my screen and let you know the Bible verse that guides me the most. And then I'm going to go into financial services, but it's important that we understand that everything placed right. God is all for us for abundance, but how we use it, why we use it, and when we use it are the questions we need to answer. So I'm going to be sharing screens as Dr. Jones said. I'm going to be open for questions. This is part one. This is an overview because if we don't understand how money works, going a little deeper into our solutions that can work for you, part two is going to be exciting as well. We want to make sure you have a foundation as to how money works. And I'm going to share my screen now. If you have pressing questions, you could write them, and Dr. Jones is also monitoring the chat group. So this is my favorite Bible verse out of that whole big book, like my very favorite, because I use it in every single aspect. And it's trust in the Lord with all of my heart and lead not to my own understanding in all my ways. In every single way, acknowledge him and he shall direct thy path. So I bring this to say that despite the uses of whatever we do in life, if we say to ourselves and we direct our attention to this verse or another verse that guides you, we will be okay when it comes to an abundance. Yes, an abundance of money, because there's so much use and money is extremely powerful and extremely helpful. So why am I here? I am here because when I got here, I got very, very excited about how and why we do business. My thing is not always to say, here are solutions, because I'm a born problem solver. And if I don't know the root of the problem and how to solve it, then the problem will keep adding up. And when I saw this, that our mission in our firm is to make sure that all America, not just middle America, not just the top 5%, understand how money grows and why it grows. I was excited. You see, only about 5% of America is wealthy. Only 5. Only 5 are the movers and shakers, because they have an understanding of how it works. They're business owners. They understand how different accounts can lead them to a better financial future, like indexed accounts, etc. They maximize their tax advantage and they have financial professionals on their side. And that is awesome. And Middle America, the largest part, the hardest working part of America, who works so hard and wonder and still worry from day to day, how is this going to end? How am I going to enter into retirement? What will happen if I'm sick? Just all these questions that people have to ask themselves. We want to make sure that the financial and emotional burden of money comes off of the mind of Middle America. You see, Middle America, they have jobs. We have 401ks, 403bs, pensions that we believe will help us at the end of the game. We have so many other things that we don't understand. Credit card debt, why we put our money in the bank instead of other places. We have minimal tax advantages, and an advisor we rarely ever have. You see, the two that really make a difference for us to make a change is to know how to maximize our tax advantages and have a financial professional on our side. A financial professional is somebody who helps you with every single life change. Somebody who makes you not have to worry about the questions, should I not, should I place this here, should I place that there? A financial professional is for if somebody is born, if they die, if you buy a house, sell a house, get a job, you get what I'm saying. Every single life change, you call your person. And I know that in the outside of our firm and outside of other firms, this can be a really expensive venture. But for us, we decided that if we are really, truly on our mission to make sure Middle America has a change, we do this complimentary. Yes, we do all our guidance complimentary, no cost to our clients. And we are dedicated to doing it right and making sure that Middle America has this change. But we don't just want to be there. We want to also have a mind shift, a complete mind shift for Middle America, so that sometimes when they're approached, they can at least say, something about that is just not right. You see, we're not here to change everybody to be a financial professional, but we're here to give some people a strong financial awareness so that they know where to get their questions answered honestly and truthfully. So we like to start off with a education part, a small education part, but impactful. You know, as I told you before, I'm from higher ed, and all of my degrees are on the business side, right? The running of businesses. I ran the universities, businesses in many countries, brought in a lot of money, and I loved every part of it. I'm one of those that's very grateful for the job I had. But then when I saw this, I realized I had very, very little knowledge on how to make myself, my family, my community, you know, reap the benefits of money. And the decision to come here was easy. I never thought I'd be in financial services, but when I knew that I wasn't really in financial services, I was in education and having people be happier, more comfortable, it was easy for me to do. And the first rule, I'm pretty sure some of you may have heard, or maybe all of you. So if you've heard about this before, I'm happy to say it again, or you could have somebody else who might want to hear it, listen to this recording as well. And the first rule of money is the rule of compound interest. A lot of you may have heard, you should let your money compound, you should make it double, you should put it here, and it's just a whole general information. And the rule of compound interest and the rule of 72 are the exact same thing. So if you hear somebody say the rule of 72 is the same thing as the rule of compounding interest. So you know the rules, or you will know the rules. And it's pretty simple. It says, the rule 72 divided by a fixed interest rate will tell you how long it will take for your money to double. Let me see if I can get a pointer here. Pointer. Here you go. So I'm over here. So 72 divided by a fixed interest rate will tell you how long it takes for your money to double. So let's just pretend we're all 29. I can't see anybody's faces, so I'm assuming we're all around 29. And let's just say we had $10,000, we're putting it into a bank, and the bank was giving us 1%. Would be a great bank today, but let's say they're giving us 1%. 72 divided by 1 is 72. You would be 101 years old before you had $20,000 in the bank. And basically that's the rule. 72 divided by a fixed interest rate tells you how long your money takes to double. Even if we had 6%, 72 divided by 6 is 12. And that same money would double every 12 years. And at 65, you would have $80,000. So this rule was simplified by Albert Einstein and said, we need to know about this. We need to know how we can use this because other people know how to use it against us. You know, we have interest rates, we have opportunities that are even 12%. And using the same rules, I'm pretty sure you get it now, at 71, you could have 1.2 million. But how is this? How do you use? We need to know how to use this. But while we're trying to figure out how to use this rule, the banks, the mortgages, everything that we use know this rule better than us. So we're getting 1% on our money and our money doubles every 72 years. But what if we got a 24% credit card? 72 divided by 24 is 3. Our debt would be doubling every 3 years. So we're doubling every 72 and our debt doubling every 3 years. Are we ever going to get out of this? It would be a little bit difficult. So we have to say, how do we turn this around? And I'm going to move on to the next rule. And it's the rule is how money grows. And I want to be clear that all three of these ways are necessary. However, when and how and why and where, anyhow we use it is what we need to know. What is the best way to use it? So let me start with the fixed account. A fixed account is like your bank account. We all need it, but we know it's safe up to a certain amount of money, but it hardly grows. Then, of course, we're all now familiar. If we weren't familiar before, we're hearing about it now, the stock market. You have to be willing to win and lose. And you have to know that you're not sure when you're going to win or lose. But again, we need that. But what if we had a good fix between the two, where it had the safety of the bank and you had the high of the market? Well, that is what we call an index strategy, where when the stock market goes up in this solution, your monies would increase. But when it goes down, it would remain where it is. So basically, you'll get the high side of the stock market without any of the downside for the entire life of the product. I don't know about you, maybe you're a little ahead of where I was when I heard this, but I was in shock. I'm like, where is this thing coming from? It must be new. But it is not new. It actually has been around since 1913 and has been one of the main strategies used to build wealth with the top 5%. And how does money get taxed? And I know not all of you are in the United States. So this is, when I speak like this, I'm speaking pertinent mostly to the United States, and it may apply to where you are as well. So how does money get taxed? You tax, you work, you pay your income tax, so it gets taxed. You put your money in a savings account and you get some interest, maybe that 1%, and you get taxed on that again. So we always ask the question, do you think the wealthy pays tax on the same money twice? I'm sure you're saying no.
You're muted, Dr. Abel. We cannot hear. You're muted.
Have I been muted the whole time?
No. Just right when you said, do you think the wealthy get taxed twice? Then you were muted.
Oh, I think it touched the mute button. Okay, well, I'm glad that's the only point that I was muted. Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Jones. So when I said, do you think the wealthy pays taxes on the same money twice? I was saying, do you think that they pay taxes on their income tax and then pay money again on their earnings? And the answer to that is mostly no. And then we have what we call tax later or tax deferred. And what happens here in the 401k, 403b, and these items here, and the 401k and the 403b perform the same way. One's just for profit institution and 403b is for not-for-profit. So if you hear them being spoken about, they perform the same way, just designated like that for not-for-profit and for-profit. And what happens here, as you know, is that you don't pay any taxes on the money that you put in a 401k. It's pre-tax, you put it in there, you have it grow, and in the future, you take your money out with a plan to use it for retirement. It was designated as a plan for retirement. However, we know, and we're all following our monies now, if you're in a 401k, 403b, and realize it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm not sure if an advisor is saying to you, you have to live out the market, you have to make sure. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that. But what if I tell you that the 401k was originally not designated as a retirement plan? So, you know, over 40 years ago, we had this great thing that most companies have called a pension plan. Now, if you don't know what a pension plan is, you sort of kind of don't need to know it anymore because it's going out of business. Most companies don't have it. And a pension plan is for some companies still a plan that when you leave, when you retire, they give you a retirement plan for the rest of your life. However, with pension plans are having a really difficult time because when pensions started way ago, people who retired at 65 did not live as long as they live now. 75, 80 was a long life. Well, you know now, 80 is a short life. Like if somebody dies at 80, we wonder what happens. So companies are going bankrupt. They're going out of business because people they're paying pensions for are living long lives and they're running out of money. But about 40 something years ago, a guy by the name of Ted Benner created revisited, because it was already there, the 401k, because people back then who made over $200,000 or more were about 70% tax bracket. Every dollar they had to pay 70 cents in tax. And it was a problem because it was the top 5%, movers and shakers. And they decided, you know what, why not put your money in a 401k? And then in the future, when the taxes go down, we're in the future now, you can take your monies out. However, a 401k, which is an IRS code, cannot be given to just one class of people. And this actually was considered by Ted Benner, the same guy, the demise of America. Because what happened is instead of pensions, companies got rid of pensions and gave us the 401k and put in our own hands our retirement plan, up and down in the market. And I really want to say, you know, that is really an issue because as we can see today, we have a lot of people who are now saying, what am I going to do? And then we have what we call tax never again or tax advantage. I want to be clear that we are not into tax evasion. We love taxes. We need taxes. We have hospitals, we have roads, we have schools, we have so many things that need taxes. However, we don't see why we have to pay more than our fair share. And we want to follow the examples of the people who pay their taxes and then grow their money and never pay taxes again. You see, this is not just for one class of people. This is for everybody. And this is the same type of strategy I mentioned before, that when you make your money, you pay your taxes on it. Yep, pay your income tax, put it in solutions or policies or whatever that is there to give you, and you never pay taxes on it again. You also have more access to it than a 401k or a 403b. I'm pretty sure you've heard the term, you should have your own bank, or the $1 million baby, or infinite banking. All of those fall under the same strategy. How is that done? We meet with everybody and we show you how. Also, in part 2, will be more detailed in some of the benefits that we have that are for you when you're alive. You see, all of these solutions, and when we think about financial services and insurance and all of that, we think about what we're leaving behind, which, by the way, is a good thing and a biblical thing. But until then, how do we make it work for us when we are alive? And that's part 2. We're going to go into a much deeper detail of what we can do while we are alive and how we can live a more fruitful life, and we can be more giving, and we can just be more comfortable in whatever we want to do. So I wanted to show you this as an eye-opener. Not to, it probably would be a little scary because I know it scared me a little bit, but I think it's important for us to know. And this right here is the S&P index. This is just what it is. It's not made up by any company or anything. This is just what it is out there in the stock market. This is the movement of the market. And every time I look at this, I remember this point where I was. In 1995, when I started my first full-time job, all I wanted apart from, getting the job, of course, was start building for my future. Just building for my financial future. Sign me up for a 401k or something, please. And I was happy, and the monies went up. And by the way, I did this for 23 years. So this is not discounting anybody who's doing this, nor should you use this information I give you today on a global level as a decision to make for your individual packages. We are here, I am here, the team of people all over the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico, who will be able to help me and the whole team with what we do. So please don't use this as an individual guidance. This is global, just general information to teach you the basics, right? So let me go back to here. So the stock market went up well. And, as a young person, I was happy. I used to look at this 401k and I was like, yeah, it's climbing in the right direction. And then we all remember, or some of us on here may remember, that we had a recession. And it was pushed over by 9/11, and I lost 50%. Now, I remember asking my advisor, what is going to happen here? And the advisor assigned to me at my job, to my account. And I don't remember what exactly he said because it was all the way up here, all over my head. And I was like, you sound like you know what you're doing. And the market went up 101%. And I was excited again. That didn't last too long as it fell again in the housing market bubble burst, right? At this point in time, I knew one of the things he said to me was that you're young, you can recover for it. I know from 95 to that point, I was no longer that young. But I still didn't have the answer because nobody could explain it to me the way I understood it. You see, the way it's explained to us when we're in a job by the advisor for the company appointed to us is in a manner in which they want us to keep our products there. So the whole highlight and the sizzle and all of that excitement distracts us from the truth of what is happening. But I want to talk about this, and I want to let you know I have nothing against the stock market. We have people, we have us in our firm who work within the stock market as well. We love what we do because we're all things financial services. So we have nothing to say against anyone. You might remember earlier I said everything has its place. But let's look at this. We get excited about, or I got excited about the 101 raise here that I got, an increase here. And it went down, forgetting about the past. But if you look here in 1999, here in 2007, and across here in about 2012, we're exactly where we were in 1999. You seen that? Hopefully it doesn't make you cringe like it made me cringe, but it did make me cringe, right? So now I'm same place from 1999, 2012. And I know everybody is seeing this nice long run. Thank God it happened because people made a lot of money. But even before the pandemic, you may have heard buzzings. We're going to have a recession. We're going to have a recession. It's coming. And the reason for that is because it was thought by the experts that this had to correct itself. It was just a long run. But the pandemic, of course, you see the one-day movement, then it went back up, and now we're on our way back down. Buzzings again about the recession. Why do I mention this? I mention this because we are depending on this for our retirement. Up, down, up, down. What if we learned more about the solutions like the index strategy of how to pay our taxes and put our monies in solutions that get the high of the market and never come down? We would never experience any of these lows. So 2001 start would be here. This long run would have started a little higher up. This we would never have experienced. We had so many clients between this and other solutions that never lose but only gain, calling us in amazement that they never lost money because everybody in their workplaces were around them saying they lost, they lost, they lost. And when they checked their policies or checked in with us, actually they never checked out their policies because they were too nervous. They checked in with us, they never lost. And even in some cases, they gained while people were losing. Listen, we need to say to ourselves, what is the best way? How can we learn this or even have a good awareness about this for ourselves? So that when we're being pushed here and pushed there, we're like, hold on. I know somebody who's going to break this down, the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything that happens. Because remember, we don't have full control of everything, but we do have control over telling you the truth. What is this? What is that? What may happen? What we understand. And that's the difference with us, because we don't just want to change your lives. We want to change yours, and you make sure your children, your grandchildren, your parents, because we deal with people from they're young, 2 weeks old. You can start building and never pay taxes again, however long it takes you to get a social, all the way up. And even in retirement, what can we do with your retirement money so it lasts you the rest of your life? Or you can have long-term care added to it. Just so many solutions that is unbelievable. And it's really unbelievable. I am very passionate about what I do only because I know it's serving and it's going to change lives. I spend an extraordinary amount of time at the beginning of every school year, speaking to incoming freshmen at the university I worked at, every single one of them. Why is that? I do that because I need to have them understand this today. Today, because companies are, whereas we had this long run and everybody's excited about that, companies no longer have the same care for their employees like back then. Young people or anybody are now realizing they have to move where the money is. How are you going to benefit if you keep moving? What can be done for you? And I get the weirdest and the deepest questions from these 18-year-olds who are fully aware that something is not right. So I want to also say a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. So we are a full financial services firm. We do everything financial services. From the companies want 401ks to people who have 401ks and they need to roll them over into solutions that work best for them and their future. Insurance, you see the list, college planning, debt management. Do you have student loans? We have somebody on we have a company on our platform that deals directly with helping our clients lower or eradicate student loans according to the plan that is put together for them. All sorts of things we do, legacy planning, wills and trusts, anything you can think of financial services. We think that we need to have, and we know it's our experience, that we need to have a whole idea, a holistic idea of what is going on in your life. And it's so interesting that just Sunday, or Saturday, my aunt was lauding my dad about, I was sitting with her and she was like, oh my gosh, if it wasn't for your father, I wouldn't have long-term care and I'm using it now. And she was just all excited, right? She was like, I cannot believe how helpful it is and stuff like that, she was saying. And I was saying to her, you would be surprised that, we put long-term care on the issues of the elderly, but everybody needs it. I was telling her my son's 18 years old. And he's now switching over and making sure he has his long-term care. Then she ended up calling my cousin. Oh, she's a physician's assistant, and she called me. Your auntie says I need long-term care. I said, no problem, no problem. Let's just talk. And she's like, I only have 10 minutes, so I just want to talk about long-term care. I say, it's a Sunday, you're a physician's assistant, you're good. So I said, I'm going to talk about long-term care, but I want to show you what I do. And I want to show you what you can tell others I do. Because we are 100% referral. We don't do any cold calling, no door knocking, no anything. We know we do good work, and we're completely organic. Who knows who knows who? So we went through through everything that I do and showed it to her. And she went into a whole plethora of, I have this money, it needs to go here, this, that, and the other. What if I said, okay, here, buy this long-term care. See ya. She wouldn't have had any idea from this information that sparks different conversations in your head for yourself or your family or your community. Hold on, maybe I should be speaking with somebody. And this is why we do this. And the most exciting part is that we're not captive. We have almost 200 policy providers on our platform who must be A-rated or platinum rated to be on our platform. If they are not platinum rated or A-rated, they cannot be on our platform. We're serving our communities with the best. The best that the top 5% have, we do deal with the top 5%, but our movement is to have Middle America move over and be more secure using the best solutions. I'm pretty sure you've seen some of these people before. These are some of the platinum rated ones. Clearly, I couldn't put them all on here, but if you're being served by our firm, you're getting the best. We've had people come in with friends and says, okay, I know I can't get insurance. And I said, why? Oh, I had cancer 4 years ago, and they say I can never get insurance. I said, okay. So you walked into one place and you're using that as a rule. We're excited because when we go through, if we can't find something for you that works for you, it probably doesn't exist, because we make sure we exhaust every single one to make sure that it can't meet your needs. You see, because this company has a standard, which may be a great standard, I'm not putting down the standard, it does not necessarily mean that another company doesn't do it. We have the resources to meet every need, or at least try our best to make sure it meets your need. And I love that, because we're not saying, oh, any one of these, you need to squeeze yourself in there and it's not your size. No, we give you your size. My family of 3, I have 2 great boys, and we have 3 different providers for 3 different needs. And it's awesome that we can be working with one advisor, one financial professional. And that's what we do. So when we meet our clients or businesses, we do small businesses, big businesses, with everybody. We try to analyze what is your interest? Where do you want to go? What do you want? And we say, do you want to increase your cash flow? Do you want to earn income? Do you want to manage your expenses? Do you want to do college planning or debt management or financial student loan management? What do you want to do? We teach and we say, stress the emphasis of an emergency fund. I must admit that in the last 2 years, we don't really have to stress it anymore, because the pandemic did that for us. We realized that what we thought was going to be a 2-month, they told us 2 months, nobody could tell, occurrence is still going on. It's been a 2-year event, and you're seeing the effects being pushed right over into a war. We need to say, how do we start a little at a time, a lot at a time? How do we manage our expenses? How do we prepare for unexpected events? How do we protect our money against income loss? You know, we have so many ways, and we have solutions, and we, like, namely one, the index strategy, that if you put your monies in these policies, it is what we call bulletproof. Why we call it that is because no bankruptcy, no liens, no anything that you can think of like that, no lawsuits. If you're in Florida and you drive a no-fault state, everybody is subject to lawsuits. It's horrible, but it is what it is. None of that can touch your funds. You know, have you ever heard of us of the rich? Today you hear, oh my goodness, this whole community, this whole building they had went bankrupt. And then tomorrow you hear that they're the second richest person in America. And you're like, stories don't go together, but they go together. Trust me. They go together because their wealth is tied up in solutions that cannot be touched and that are protected. This is not just for the wealthy. This is for anybody who understands and can use these solutions. We teach people how to build wealth and how to preserve wealth. You know, we have this part about the legacy planning is very near and dear to my heart, because our community is not as savvy, I find, in preparing for final expenses or decisions that you want after birth, after death. You know, what do you want to happen? You know that you can put in writing any and everything that you want your monies to do for you for generations to come. We know about wills, we know about trusts, we know about living benefits. You know, what is worse than a wife and a mother arguing about what they know this gentleman wants when he's incapacitated? Nobody. One's going left, one's going right. You can speak from a state of incapacitation. You can speak from a point from the grave, because what we call, and I don't know if they're all Jamaicans, but the dead left money situation and argument that goes on for generations have to stop. You just have to open the paper, read the paper, and the only person you can be upset with is the person who passed away. And that is where I am going with this, because it is important to me. I have been very, very, very fortunate to have twice. My sister, who passed away 16 years ago from breast cancer, she had so many things prepared. It was sort of spooky how we were just sitting and looking at each other, because we just had to check off the list. Nothing to do, nothing, just read it. And my grandmother passed away 2 years ago, exactly 2 years, the 5th of August. And it was the same thing. Go to the funeral home. Finally, we thought maybe we could contribute by putting the words on the gravestone. And the guy's like, whoa, hold on. All I need is a date. She had down to the very words that she wanted on the gravestone. Another period in time that we could just mourn or remember the person without any type of stress. Can you imagine what that would be if our whole community came together and that's how we had our somebody's end of life experience? And passing on the information, just to let you know, something I learned, which was, I don't know how it got past me, but it got past me. If you have children under 18 years old and you have them on a will only, no trust, or you have them as a beneficiary or stuff, you're subjecting this, whatever you're passing down to go to probate. The best thing to have, especially if you have children, young children, is a trust. And I pass that on because I was right to the attorney that we have on our platform and saying, we need to get this taken care of. So I know that we only have a few minutes left, so I'm glad I was able to get it into that time. But I'm going to field some questions if you like. I didn't know, I wasn't following the chat box. I don't know if any's in there. But I'd also like you to answer a very quick survey. Apart from your name and info, there's only one question. And if you would like to contact me, my information is here. I neglected to say that I did say earlier, my business partner, Cavell Clark, she's a teacher, so she's probably not on. She's the one who got me to meet Dr. Jones. She and I are working together to get to more people, the teachers, the nurses. I mean, they're educating now more than ever. So I'll let you go ahead and take that information, and then I'll leave that up, and then I'll also try to see. I see one hand. But
okay, there's a question. Someone, VW, have a question, VW. Could you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Ruffin. I have a question regarding the 401k. Now, after you reach a certain age, or should we be concerned about the risk that we take? Because you have different risk factors. Like you have the moderate, once you get to a certain age, should we be concerned about that, the risk that we're taking into these investments, what you invested in?
Well, I think we should always be concerned about the risk. So, you have to make sure, and I'm not going to go, I don't know what, this is a very general answer. So we would definitely want to look at you and have an advisor with us as well. But yes, you should be concerned at the time that you're getting closer to retirement. But you might not need to be concerned because you see, as I say, it's general. The 401k, if you're in it now, I suggest that you talk to us. We don't know what the market is going to do, but we can tell you it's very iffy at this point. Like you hear the buzzings, right? So the answer is yes, you should always be concerned, not just when you're getting to a certain age. You should always, we as financial professionals, no matter what, we check with our clients every single year. You could have bought a $20 policy or a $200,000 because life changes, and that's when we get to see your portfolio a year or hear about the changes that's happened in 12 months. Some people 6 months. It depends on your portfolio. So the short answer is yes, you should be concerned, but the long answer is that it's on an individual basis. And I'm not quite sure what the certain age is, but let's just call it 60. And if that's what your age is.
Right.
So
I recall my boss saying to me once, Veronica, when you invest, don't look at it, you see the stock market go up and down, because when you're young, you have to realize that when you invest, because they don't put money in bank, they were pretty wealthy and he didn't have any money in the bank. If you say write a $300 check, ain't no money in the bank, but they had money because they invested everything. And he always said, don't forget, it's a long term. So don't look at it. And when the market drop, you go crazy and say, oh, all my money, I had 10,000 and now I only have 200 left, because it's a long term investment. But as you creep up into age, then it becomes a different thing. And then I get to understand, once you reach 59 and a half, you can also take from it without a penalty, or is there, what is this thing about? When it comes to
qualified funds here I'm assuming you're here, yes.
Yes.
There is a 59 and a half rule that if you take monies before 59 and a half, you're going to get an early withdrawal penalty, plus the taxes you have to pay on it. But if you're building your monies towards retirement, before taking money for even at 59 and a half, I suggest you call a financial professional.
Okay, and next question for you, because I always have the sense of you have your 401k and you have Social Security. It's quicker to go for the Social Security earlier and leave the 401k, because at least you can leave that to family members. Social Security, once you go, it go too, because there ain't nobody getting it.
Well, that is again subject to marriage and everything, but we want to talk about, you don't want to leave the 401k because then you're leaving it in here. You want to talk to a financial professional.
No, not mean leave it, because you have beneficiaries. For Social Security, you can have no beneficiary. Once you go, that goes with you. But at least the money that you invested in 401k, you have your beneficiaries. So if anything should happen to you, they get that money.
So there are two. I hear your thought, and that makes sense when it comes if you're thinking about death and if you die. But I don't know when people are going to die. So sometimes the longer you take to take it out, you get more money from Social Security. But if you're concerned about dying and leaving it, then you make a decision. But if you take it out as soon as you're eligible, that's the lowest amount of money that you can have. If you keep it there for a little longer, that's a little bit more. So, but if you're concerned about death, then that might be a strategy. But you have my info, right?
No, I don't.
We can talk more about it. We don't policy push, and that's a great thing. Segue into this. We don't push. We do want to see we've looked at people's portfolios and they're excellent. The difference is that we know they're excellent, and thank God we do work the way we do it because we explain it to them. So the next person who needs to sell or find that they must sell will not be able to do that because they either can call us and say, can you talk together, you two, or explain to them why they're not touching it. And in other cases, we say, were you aware that this is what's going to happen in X years or X years or X years? And then the decision is yours. So there's no cost and there's no pressure. I pressure switch seriously to educate and make you aware. So even when people are saying, but I'm not doing anything, I said, let me still sit down with you, stick it with you, show you what it is, and make you aware of what you have. So when I'm telling people to sit, trust me, I love what I do, and I'm more important, love when here changes.
Okay. What I did, what I want others to know, what I did when I went to the company that I work for, which was a private company, they didn't do 401k. And I had a coworker, because where he came from, they had 401k, and then he was to roll it over somewhere because he was no longer with that company. So he wanted to roll it in another 401k. So he sat with all the employees and he says, we're going to talk, we could talk the boss into signing up for 401k. And at first he didn't agree because, the fees that you have to pay. So we decided we will pay the fee, no problem. And then afterwards, he signed us up and we started out, which was great. And this the best thing ever happened to us. And then he started to match it, which was wonderful.
And that's a great, matching is pretty popular. He must have loved when you paid the fees because he gets a tax write-off for every single person who has
but he didn't want to do it at first. But, he didn't want to do it at first because they started out with pension. Once you was with the company for a while, you're automatically in that pension, but then we had a worker that come over that was working at another company and he knew about, because I didn't know anything about 401k. And I tell you, it's the best thing that ever happened to us. I said, this is just awesome because it's so good. They take out before taxes, so I pay less tax and all my stuff came out. So it was such a good thing. So, it's like, because if you had to put it in the bank, you would already pay taxes and put it in the bank still. And God bless what the bank is giving you. So it was an awesome decision that, at least, so you can always suggest whether it's a small business or not, if they would, willing to do 401k, because some companies don't do it. Because I'm in New York and some companies don't do it. But if you're willing, the workers are willing to say, okay, we will pay the fees, even though he's going to get the benefit. It didn't matter to us because we're looking in the long run, on the long term for our retirement, which was an awesome thing.
I actually like this guy. However, maybe I missed the point. Like if you were to pay your monies and the taxes and put it in the bank, you definitely would not make anything.
No,
however, if you were to pay your taxes and put it in an index solution like I showed you, and everything that you make, you would never pay 1 cent in taxes again. So you would have paid on your seed, you'd pay the tax. When you make your money, you put it in a solution that grows. You don't have a 59.5 rule. You don't have a 72.5 rule. You're not playing with the stock market, and you have access to it as your own bank. And these are and let me tell you, if you did this while you had the long run, I am happy that the high run of the market that you got an increase, that long run increase. Right. That's not going to happen again for a very, very long time.
A very long time.
But a very, very long time. So we don't look back. We don't look back at all. Even if it wasn't that long run, we can't look back. What's it going to profit us? What's going to profit us? Nothing.
Okay.
So what I say is, we still need to talk. We need to talk about monies that you move from one company to another company. Yeah, and there's another story that you want to hear. I can't get into that now, but you want to hear about it. What you do with it is up to you. When you move one company and roll it over into another one. And I'm happy to talk to you further about that. Also about paying the taxes on your seed and making it grow. and you have access to it, and of course it takes time to build, we don't sugarcoat anything. And we make
Right.
it, and you make it build, and you never pay taxes again. In the 401k, we're putting monies into the 401k, not paying any taxes. It's going up and down. We have no idea what our financial future is going to look like because we don't know what the stock market is going to look like. And then
Right.
way later, we also don't have any idea what the taxes are going to be like because you still have to pay taxes.
Pay
on
tax. But not as much as if you had taken it before you reach that 59.5 age, right?
No, that's another story, but no, that's incorrect. It depends on your tax bracket. It's not
Yeah.
just a 401k thing.
Right. Yes. Yes. Your tax bracket means that. Yeah. Okay.
I thank you so much.
That was interesting.
Yes,
Thank
we
you,
have
VW.
2 questions. Yeah, we have 2 questions in the chat and someone else raised their hand. But before, I just want to remind you all, please get the information off the screen. If you take a photo screen, if you can't, take a picture of it and keep it somewhere. Get the phone number and get the feedback. All right. There's gonna be a copy of this on YouTube. You can get this on YouTube in the full broadcast. On Monica Jones Ministries on Facebook. I apologize. You're gonna see my face and hear Dr. Abel's voice, but I'm sorry. It's my live, so it shows me. It doesn't show her, and you know, she's, look at her. He said, I apologize for that, but you're gonna see my face and you're gonna hear her voice. But it's on YouTube, so you can go back over and listen to it again. But take her information and you can call her, okay? She'll be coming back, but you can call her and share the broadcast with other people. Go to the YouTube, Monica Jones Ministries, subscribe and like and share. When you like it, it comes to the top. So when people can go on there, they'll see it right at the top. Here's a question. It says, if you take money out of your 401k, you pay tax on it. The answer to that is yes, right? Because I think you dealt with that before. Dr. Abel, here's a question. You're muted. If you take money out of your 401k, you will have to pay tax on it. All right, I'm not getting her. I think she answered that question, and that would be a yes. The next one is, Dr. Lizette, can anyone make their own will without an attorney? Let me see, it look like her screen is frozen. I think she's frozen. Oh, I lost her. Okay, we lost her. All right, is there anybody from her group? I know she had some co-workers or colleagues with her. Is there anyone from Dr. Abel group that would like to answer that question? I know she's gonna try and get back on. She probably lost her connection. All right. Is there anyone from her? Oh, she's coming back now. Okay. Let me make her. Dr. Abel, could you raise your hand so you could come to the top so I could make you a co-host? We have 2 questions. I know you lost your, okay. I know you lost your connection. All right. All right, so we have 2 questions. Yeah, we understand. It's technology, so we are good with that. One question is, when you take money out of a 401k, you have to pay taxes on it, right? I think you dealt with that before.
Yes, you have to take tax. You pay taxes, but it depends on the age. You might have a early withdrawal fee as well. Because you haven't paid taxes on those funds.
You have to pay taxes. Okay. The second question is, can you make a will without an attorney?
Okay.
She's gone again. Oh, she's back. All right. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Dr.
I am sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm here. I off again. We have we had a thunder going on over here.
I
Um,
know.
Will, anybody can find a will online and do it.
Okay, it says your bandwidth is low because of the weather, so we have to make accommodation for that. But if any one of your colleagues have a better signal, they can jump in as well and help you out. Amen. But
Yeah,
about
I
the
think
will. Okay, now you're back.
I
You're
don't know if
back
any of my
now.
colleagues are here. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Oh yeah. There's Augie and there's some other people.
Yeah, I saw some. Yeah, that came in with you.
Augie and Miriam. Yes.
All right, you can go ahead.
So for the will, as I said, I'm not an attorney, but there are simple wills on a line that if you decide that, okay, I just want to hurry and get something done without speaking to an attorney, a probate and estate planning attorney, you can get it done to have something there. But if you want a more comprehensive trust and stuff like that, and you want an attorney, we have some on our team, but you can make something and get it notarized by a notary, whoever you know as a notary. But that's the amount of legal advice I can give. Anybody else? Am I stuck again?
No, you're good. You're good. Any other question? Can I ask you a question? All right, because I don't even hear people talking about this. But back in the days, there used to be a thing called CD. Certificate of deposit. I have not heard that word mentioned for a very long time. What has it been dead and put to death? Has CD been put to death? Because I have not heard that word mentioned for a long time.
I don't know what's going on with CDs. I know they're not being pushed because the interest rate is almost nothing. So it used to be they hold your money up for a while and you get a certain amount of interest rate, but I really don't know. I haven't heard it for a while myself. My kids, when they were growing up, had CDs, but as soon as I learned about this, I moved them into the index strategy, and it just does well because, as I say, but I'm telling you, when you have your young people or your babies and stuff, the $50, the $100 that we put in the bank, you would be surprised what that can do when you're getting the high of the market. We have been so left behind this information that this took us less than an hour. And I'm pretty sure this awareness will change your thinking. And I'm thinking to myself, why wasn't this 1 million degrees later just dropped into one little class? And this is why I'm doing this. But CDs, I can't tell you. I know I wouldn't have anything. I wouldn't lock up my money for less than 1% for in a CD.
Right. Okay. And like the Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And it's the people who know will rule the people who don't know. Because I tell people, I do not like to talk, and I would not talk investment or monies with Black people. I'm just not going to do it because it's very difficult. It's too difficult, and it's very frustrating for me. When I asked someone the other day, you're a mother, you have children and grandchildren. Never in your entire life, and you're in your 60s going on 70, never even once even have an insurance policy. Work the money and put it in the bank. I said the bank is not a place to put your money, especially when you have children. At least get a policy, and when you die, let them inherit some money. I remember when my pastor in Jamaica, he was the president of Mutual Life, and when he died, if his children, if they never wanted to work a day in their life, they would never have to work. He had everybody covered down to the grandchildren, and that's what the Jews do. And so when they're dead, their grandchildren and everybody is, and not even, they put them, I said, the bank does not give you the best return on your money, and people just feel, okay, let me put it there, and I can watch the number and see it go up, and they're okay with that. All right, somebody have their hand, please raise your hand. I'm gonna put back your hands up. I was just making my
well, you know, I'm taking the challenge with the people because I like a challenge. So send them over. Everybody has a different calling, and I understand it. I have frustrations in other areas, and not with Black people, but in other areas that's not my strength. but this is definitely the era I love. I love to have them overcome. I love it. I love it so much. So, but when it comes to that succession planning that you talked about, I trust, like my trust when I got mine done, I think that the attorney was done with me. I was like, if I have two sons, if one gets married, and you know, it's 50% for what, if one dies, then give it to the other one. But if this one was married, give it to, and it goes on for years. It goes on, and if not scenarios, for decades. And that's how they do it. It's not really that, it's not as hard as just sitting with a good attorney. And I tell you, we can also recommend attorneys for you here in South Florida, and who know the financial parts as well, because they do both sides. But that's all it is put, and that piece of paper, I'm not going to tell you, when I put all of my living will, trust, power of attorney, and everything in place, I slept. My kid is my not a kid, I guess. He's going to college on Friday. And he has here, we just, you know, we have an appointment for today to go to a notary to get his power of attorney, his financial power of attorney, his living will, and his FERPA for college, and his release of his medical documents here, because we have so many documents signed and handed over to me. I wish I never have to use them. I wish I never have to use them, but he's 18, and when you hit 18, you're a full-grown adult. So now what happens if something happens to him? He's in Orlando, I'm here in Davie, or whatever. How do we juggle that? He has that appointment today, he leaves Friday. I'm not stepping a foot out of here without me having access. And that's how passionate I am about making sure. And that, by the way, I just downloaded off of the internet. That was, you know, this paper, that paper, and give me rights if he can't make a decision for himself or whatever reason.
Right. Because people don't think like that, that you think you're gonna live forever, and you really don't have things out, and then you're left at the mercies of the mother. Because even if the man is in his 60s and he's not married, everything goes to the
Anyway, or the mercies of the court, which is even worse.
Exactly, or it go to the mercies of the court. I remember someone was in the hospital and dying, and I went to them. I said, power of attorney for the daughter, the oldest daughter. I said, sign it and put everything. She's irresponsible. I said, so who you want to get the money? Your child or the government? I said, sign everything over. And you know, she was very reluctant, and she was dying. And we went there like the Friday, she died the Sunday. And even then she was reluctant to sign over the power of attorney to the daughter. And she was dying. And if she didn't do it, everything would have gone to the court. So why would you want to do that?
I trust and a power of attorney to somebody she trusted and anything she wanted would be in the trust.
Right. But the daughter did very well in taking care of the other younger ones. And if she hadn't done that, it would be so much mess for them. Okay, Shirley, I have a question before I go to Sylvia. It says, how do I start an index plan in Jamaica? I am in Jamaica. I remember when I was in Jamaica, Jamaica have a stock market. We're not that backward because they had the same thing and that you can do there.
You can take my information, but I'm not Jamaica, but I can tell you that when I speak a lot to Jamaicans clearly, and in Jamaica, that used to be one of my areas. When it comes to the index strategy, it's almost one of the things that they use a lot. Like a lot more. They were more, the people, my team, I had a team that worked with me in Jamaica, and they're like, yeah, that's what we have. That's what we have. And I'm like, where was I? So it is actually a strong practice in Jamaica. I know a couple of agents there, and if you just say, even if you're in Jamaica, take my info, whatever your question is, and I put it out to wherever or whoever this information should go to, okay?
Okay, all right, good.
But it is something that is in Jamaica, and the rules for Jamaican insurance are different from here, more on a protection side of the client in Jamaica than it is here.
Right. And we have to recognize also that it has to do with culturally, because even in Jamaica, when you have a loan, there is a saving component to the loan. So when you finish pay your mortgage, you have money saved. In America, just spend the money, just spend the credit card and we'll take from you, and they really don't care about you. But in Jamaica, it's more caring that you're going to have something at the end of paying off the loan. You're going to have a little savings to go along with it. Okay, Sylvia, unmute yourself, Sylvia, and ask your question. And we're going to put up Dr. Abel's information again. Take a photo shot or take a picture of it if you can't, and take her information, write it down if you can't, and get in contact with her. There is someone on Facebook. I'll take what's on Facebook in the meantime. Go ahead. Sylvia,
Yes,
go
good
ahead with your
afternoon.
questions. Yeah.
Yes, I just joined the program late. So I'm living in the Florida area as well. Where could I get more information on this plan about my daughter? She just turned 18.
Oh, just give me a call with the info here. Just take a picture. I will
Take a
definitely,
picture
I'll
of
put you in
the
the right direction.
information and call her. It's a 954 number, 954-629-1698, and take her email as well, or just take a photo screen of it, and then you can call her and she will meet with you. She'll set up a meeting with you.
And
All
that
right.
feedback,
Okay,
that feedback has only 2 questions on there. So if you put your information there, I have that as well to contact you. So all these areas are areas you can, if you get going to the feedback form, just click on it. You'll be able to leave your information as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So make your contact with her and you'll get the information that you need. And for those that are grandparents, right, you can also contact her about setting up trust funds or college funds for your grandchildren or your favorite goddaughter or your goddie or just your relative. You see some of them have potential, want to be a doctor, want to go to college. Take the information and ask, because as a family member, you can set up those things for the children when they come up, that when they reach like 21 or 25-year-old, they will come in monies to do things with. So get that information from her, and in the next session she's going to go deeper into how you can have the accounts where you use like she call it a bank, and put your money in there and use that money for yourself. So get her information, go click on the feedback, get the information off, or you could go put it in and then answer the question, send your name and information to her. And if you can't, contact me and I will send it to you through WhatsApp or some other medium. But take the information here, pass it around with your friends and family. Somebody on Facebook is asking, it is good to have insurance policies. Yes, depending on the policies. And she's going to explain to that next time, like whole life and term, and which one is better. And even better than that, how about the
Even
living
better
one?
than that. We have it all.
How about that? The living one where you actually
living benefits is our topic.
The living benefits where you put the money in and use it as a bank and you don't pay tax, which is what the rich people do. They put the money into insurance policy and they don't pay tax on it. But she's going to go in greater detail on that. So if you go to Facebook, Monica Jones Ministries, you'll hear her voice and you'll see my face. But if you go to YouTube, Monica Jones Ministries, subscribe and like, and you'll see her teaching that. Listen to it again and get the essence of what she's saying. And then you can call her and then you'll add your questions. Write your questions down if there is any part that you don't understand, and she'll be more than happy to meet with you and to recommend and to set up plans. And for those that are over 50, that you need to set up your long-term care. Amen. You need to set up your long-term care so that
over
in
18.
The events, over 18, you say? They told me one time,
no.
I remember one time I called, was it Pacific or Prudential? And they say, you're too young. You should at least wait till you're 50. Or was it Susie Orsman said, wait until
Probably
you're
Susie.
50. Probably Susie said, wait till you're 50 to take out the long-term health care. Amen. So we'll join.
I just did my son's own. I just added my at 18. Now we have different strategies that you can start
different strategies for that. Okay. All right, but you definitely should look into it with what you see going on right now, that we all need it. Amen. And then that way, when we die, people shouldn't be picking up a collection to bury us. They should not be worried about what's going to happen to us when we die, because it is notorious among Christians. Well, when we dead, we don't care what happened. That is other people's problem. That's wrong. That is so wrong.
If you love your family, If you
Right,
love your
right.
family, you're supposed to
Someone
be
told me
able to
that.
lead them in love.
Somebody actually told me that when I was telling them to get a policy, they said, I don't care. That is somebody else's problem to bury me. That's why I tell her I'm not messing with them. All right. So,
Send them over. Send them over. I'll handle them.
I'll send them to you. But for Christian people, and especially those in ministry, you should not die and don't have nothing, or when they get old and there is nothing to take care of them. And even if you're a pastor, you're a minister, you're involved in ministry, you can set up something for your church, for your ministry, like how VW, I forgot her name, says that she didn't have 401k at her workplace, and they went and asked for it and they get it. But if you have a ministry, I think 4, 5, 6 people, you can form a little group, whatever the quorum is, and then get a policy for your church. I remember my pastor in Jamaica, he was, like I said, he was the president of Mutual Life, and he had all of us ministers on a policy. So we know that if we die, we were taken care of. They would bury us. Or Keyman Insurance, you can insure yourself and say, when I die, give the money to the church. There's a lot of things she's gonna tell you about the next time. So the next time I put up her information, come back and come with your questions. But in the meantime, get her information, give her a call, whether you're in Florida, Jamaica, or wherever you're seeing this on social media, you can call her. They are international. She will set you up with somebody in your neighborhood. Amen. Okay, God bless you. Remember, you can go YouTube and Facebook and see this again. Thank you, Dr. Abel.
Thank
and
you.
hopefully
Thank you so much.
you'll be able to yeah, it is so good. My people, the knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Like you said, if we could get people to change their mind and stop buying clothes, it would do. It will.
Well,
go
we like to say at the firm, applied knowledge. Applied knowledge.
Applied knowledge is a good thing. Stop shopping. Stop making Air Jordan rich. Michael Jordan not getting my money. I don't care. They're rich, but they're not gonna do it on my head, because I'm not gonna let you take the money out of my pocket for a shoes of $500, $600. I'll walk barefoot. But anyway, that's me. That's not you. But anyway, apply. She's coming back on the 29th, and you can come with your questions, and you'll get even more information and policies and programs and plans that will benefit you, your children, children, to many generations. Amen.
Right,
God
into
bless
retirement.
You.
All the way, even if you're
all the way
in
to
retirement.
All right, God bless you. Right, God bless you. Oh, let me see.
Thank you.
This is a question here in the chat. No, thank you. Oh, they're thanking you for the information. You're more than welcome. Okay, you're more than welcome. God bless you. See you all.
Thank you.
If you didn't get information here, you can inbox me and I'll be more than happy to send it out to you. God bless you and see you again soon, Dr. Abel.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone. I'm logging off now. Thank you so much for being here.